Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome to this Jupiter retrograde special with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these are for everybody, but they are general, so remember that. And I also want to say, if you are new to my channel, thank you so much for being here. Remember to check out all of the good stuff that I've got for you. For those of you that are part of the Radiant Riders, you know Rafi loves you. I love all of you anyway, but you guys are special to me. Thank you so much for signing up. Now, if you want to know how I come to the conclusions that I do, I use whole sign tropical Western astrology for those of you that are new to my channel and would like to know. And for those of you that want to know as an overview, my bag is astrology, tarot, numerology, and energy work. Those are the skills, the spiritual sciences that I am most attuned to, that I absolutely love, and that I use to bring you all of this content. So if anybody wants to know, now you know. So we are here to talk about the big guy. And this is obviously a transit that's taking place this year and actually will be getting started. So I'm recording this on the 9th of September 2024. So this will be starting very soon and it's going to be taking us into the new year. So it's worth talking about now. All right, with that said, let's get straight into it. So Jupiter retrograde is going to start on the 9th of October and it's going to go right the way through from 21 degrees of Gemini through to 11 of Gemini, and it's going to end on the 4th of February 2025. For those of you that know, that's the day after my birthday. Right, so on the 25th, um, Mars came into Gemini, right? So talking about May this year. Now, this has been a decidedly different energy that we've experienced. And in all honesty, with the water and earth that we've been having, it was getting a little bit muddy, right? So we needed a good, healthy dose of air. We'd had so much water energy, so much earth energy. And like when Jupiter came into Gemini, I actually felt like this was a breath of fresh air, even if it's not necessarily in its, it's because it's in the sign of its fall in Gemini. Now, after the Great Conjunction of 2020, which ushered in a brand new era of air energy, a 20-year cycle, which in with that Great Conjunction, and then a 200-year cycle of Great Conjunctions in air signs, right? We really didn't get as much lift as everyone was kind of expecting or possibly needed, apart from inciting war on the grounds of moral hijinks. Okay, so I won't say any more about that. Jupiter in Aries went past without much of a shift, to be fair. When it hit Taurus, it just drove the prices of everything sky high. So come May 25th of 2024, when Jupiter enters Gemini, it immediately tries the point at which it conjuncts with Saturn. So I feel like it's a sojourn through its sign of detriment, remember. Jupiter is far away from home here, but I think it's definitely been a decidedly different energy that we needed, right? So in terms of, for those of you that don't know, Austin Coppock is an incredible astrologer. He's one of my favorites. Truth be told, I've got a lot. I've got a long list of astrologers that I absolutely love and admire. Austin is one of them. I have studied with him, and he's got this idea of who are the children of Jupiter. So who are the children of the planet, right? So the children of Jupiter are noblemen, right? So people that are aristocracy, celebrities, rulers, etc. Priests and priestesses, because Jupiter rules spirituality. It is the planet of higher wisdom, meaning, philosophy, etc. And it's a very spiritual energy. It doesn't just rule Sagittarius, which is a very spiritual sign of religion, etc., but it also rules Pisces, which is the sign of spirituality and the sign of the mystic, right? So priests and priestesses, absolutely. Judges, people that have, the authority of law. Jupiter is the lawmaker, right? The lawgiver, the lawbringer. Rules judges, those people that are in charge that make big decisions to change other people's fates. Teachers, coaches, mentors, anybody that we look up to give us or guide us or to light the way for us in some way, shape, or form, and gurus, people that are spiritually inclined, that are in some way, shape, or form, even though they're still human, they elevate or they find a cohesive balance between what it is to be a human being and to spiritually enhance or to experience your life. So, who is Jupiter and what are his gifts? Jupiter represents growth, expansion, abundance, luck. It also rules growth in general, right? It's how and where we have the power to impact others, right? We don't just meet or gather helpful people. We are also here to be helpful people for somebody else in life. So just like we all have the children of Jupiter enter our lives, we can also be that child of Jupiter in somebody else's life, right? So that in mind, consider that Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius, the sign of wisdom, philosophy, religion, the practical and clerical side of spirituality. It's about freedom and expansion and liberty for all and the highest ideals of man. It's fun and vibrant and feisty and energetic, right? And it's an energy that goes beyond because it's known for reaching or searching for heaven, right? It's also the ruler of Pisces, as I mentioned earlier, mysticism, magic, creativity, spirituality, the boundless and formless world, the spiritual and intuitive realms. Jupiter rules the sea. What is the most incredible, the largest expanse on the planet? The ocean, right? Jupiter rules the waters, the collective subconscious, that formless and liminal space and sign, Pisces, that speaks to the space within all of us that has no tangibility. When we think about this expression of fire and water, we think about steam, right? Which is a tremendous and powerful driving force. It's both wet and hot, a juxtaposition of energies because air is dry and warm and water is cool and wet, right? This just shows that Jupiter is actually an energy of cohesion. It brings things together, right? And it's a synthesizing energy. Jupiter rules luck and opportunity. And there's a reason that the big man is on the Wheel of Fortune in tarot, or rather is the Wheel of Fortune in tarot. So if you've been with me long enough or you've taken my tarot course, you know that the Wheel of Fortune represents Jupiter, right? That said, Jupiter in Gemini, the sign opposite to its natural home, it's far from and somewhat frustrated, this Jupiter, because now the planet that rules boundless and desires like higher minded liberation is hemmed in, right? Jupiter is the bigger picture, and Gemini is about the detail. Gemini is a detail orientated sign and it's ruled by Mercury. Have you ever seen Tony Stark working on his plans? So I'm talking about Iron Man or Tom Cruise in Minority Report, how they pull things up and then they zoom in, right? Or like on the screen. This is kind of what Jupiter is being forced to do in Gemini, right? To zoom in, to let go of the bigger picture and pay attention to the details, and then really to look at the minutiae. And Jupiter doesn't want to do that, right? It's not the easiest thing to do in a sign that's known for nimble, nervous, ambivalent kind of energy. The only thing he really understands here is the mutability of Gemini, right? Gemini is a mutable air sign. And I suppose the other part of it is as well is Gemini is a sign of learning. So it's done wonders for learning, for gaining new skills, etc. But that's kind of it. He's also literally out of his element because he doesn't do well in air. Jupiter is debilitated or in fall in Libra, right? So think about that. He's in one sign that he doesn't do well in. He's in fall when he's in Libra, and it's because this is a planet that rules fire and water, right? Gemini is education, communication. It's the data, the media, the information. It's the motor skills, and it's like the way in which we use and process information and how we sort that information. It's a fun, jittery, energetic sign that needs constant and consistent stimuli. Whereas Jupiter, even Pisces and Sagittarius, as freedom loving and liberated as they are, They have an appreciation for just sitting still and enjoying, right? Gemini is the jack of all trades, master of none energy. And this is not a slight in any way, shape, or form because the future isn't a niche. The future, Jupiter, interestingly enough, Jupiter rules the future. It also rules foresight and prophecy, is a multifaceted business model with multiple income streams. Gemini, right? Tain't nobody that does this better than Gemini. Gemini understands this better than anyone. It's a total compliment and an absolute asset that they don't fit in any one category. And as an Aquarius, for me, this is kind of like the most attractive trait about them. Right? Because I'm an Aquarius, right? Anything that's a little bit different, a little bit fringe, a little bit niche, a little bit out there, a little bit weird, a little bit kinky, all the things, right? Now, Jupiter retrograde from the 9th of October 2024 right the way through to, I think it's like the 31st of December, Jupiter will go retrograde, right? This is a pretty big deal because if Jupiter is the further reaching, the future orientated planet, the planet that thinks of where we go next, it's the opportunities and the blessings that come from the world into our lives. It's the way in which we meet the world in our best visage, right? This is where we grow to be and to reach the highest sort of position that we're able to have with what we have available to us. Sometimes we are even in the positions to be bigger than we deserve to when Jupiter is in a specific place in our chart, especially the natal position. This is a really important point. Wherever Jupiter is in your natal chart can sometimes be where you're given more responsibility or more acclaim than maybe you've worked for. And, how we deal with that is also where we gain recognition from the higher ups or favor from the higher ups or people that are in charge, etc. So this is something to think about as well, because sometimes it can see us advance before we're ready. It's only an opportunity. What you do with it is on you. Now, retrograde motion, when a planet goes retrograde, it's actually showing you its energy, its symbolization, or its symbolism, should I say, is it's both more internal and more intensified. It's magnified in some way. And it can also bring people, especially those that the planet rules, back into your life. Since Jupiter is helpful people, opportunity, luck, blessings, it can absolutely bring all of those things back into your life. What I've often observed for clients and even for myself is that when Jupiter goes retrograde, opportunities that we weren't able to move on at some point in our lives tend to come back into our world, right? We get a chance to we get a chance to actually do something with it for a change. Here's an opportunity whore, as I like to call them, right? Jupiter will just give you, just like Mercury is the retrograde whore, Jupiter is the opportunity whore. Jupiter is, will give you multiple opportunities, and a lot of people tend to end up dropping them because they're kind of like they don't really think through or follow through on what's been offered to them because there's an ample sort of feeling of, oh, well, this is going to be here all the time, or, I'll always have this around or always have this luck or whatever. And it's not always the case. So it tends to bring things back. When Jupiter goes retrograde, we get a second chance, we get a second shot at something in our lives to see if we're ready or to see if this is actually viable in our lives. Wherever Gemini, Aquarius, and Libra are in your chart will be areas in which you're likely to receive blessings, second chances, or resurgence of the themes that I've talked about here. Be open to them, right? Whereas the areas of Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces will probably be where challenges come back up. Or for resolution in some way, shape, or form. And I also want to mention wherever Jupiter falls in your chart, Jupiter retrograde is not a time to take a loan. Do not do it, right? Because the chances are when Jupiter goes retrograde, if you take a loan, you end up not being able to pay it back in the time that's allotted. You end up paying more interest. Sometimes it goes horribly, horribly wrong. So just be really conscious around this, okay? Now, are you ready to work with me, Rafi? Do you want me to be your personal Jupiter and see you through the end of this year? I'm presenting you with a chance to work with me for 3 months, one to one. You're going to be able to, we're going to build you a strategy. On top of that, we're going to build you a master plan. You're going to have a master call. On top of that, you'll have a monthly check-in. And as if that wasn't enough, you're also going to be getting, you'll get me on speed dial. So if you've ever thought I need an emergency reading, or you know what, I've got this thing that I'm working on and I need Raf's input, you will have me on WhatsApp so we can send each other voice notes. Probably lots of memes as well, because that's, it's one of my love languages, that and emojis. You will have all of that and you will have my absolute support. We will effectively become a part of each other's family over the next, yeah, probably like, well, not well, over the next 3 months for sure. You will have access to me on that Monday to Friday daily level around anything that you choose to work on. You get to choose, and I will be using all of my skills, astrology, tarot, numerology, and energy work to support you and utilize my intuitive faculties to help you build a strategy based on your correspondences so that we can move you forward so that you are ready for 2024. All right. There's only 10 spaces. So if you want to be a part of this, get in quickly. All right. Now, imagine having Rafi in your pocket. That's kind of what it's going to be like, only better. All right, back to the retrograde. So, how something begins in astrology is always a really important factor because the quality of that moment tells us what something is about, how it's likely to unfold. So, pay attention to this. This Jupiter retrograde begins with a trine to Mercury, and it also begins with a sextile to Chiron. This is very telling because Jupiter also represents healing. Now, not many people consider that aspect of Jupiter. The great benefic of our zodiac also represents healing, right? So, in its trine to Mercury, this is between Gemini and Libra. There is a lot of air, right? And the master of communication and data processing is receiving good energy from Jupiter and vice versa, which means we're able to communicate what we hold deep within our minds with fairness, with balance, and with grace. And it also means that we're able, or whether we want to or not, we're going to discover a new sense of and ability to use our own diplomacy, right? So this could be that a teacher, a coach, a mentor, or a guru, maybe somebody that comes in helps you articulate and take action of your plans if you're willing to be a good student. Ah, sign up, be one of my 10 people, right? So yeah, I literally just thought about that. I'm reading my notes as well. I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, that makes sense. These two are very opposite energies. So Jupiter going retrograde in Mercury's sign is hosted by this Mercury who starts this Jupiter retrograde period in an air sign. This is most auspicious, right? Now, in the sextile, remember, a sextile is harmonious, but just like Jupiter itself, it's nothing more than an opportunity. A sextile requires work, or rather, action. You have to do something with it. It requires us to do something, right, with what information is presented to us. Jupiter is healing and blessings, and Chiron is the wound, right? So in Aries, I see Chiron in Aries. I am seeing it as this is us really starting to understand what it has cost us to be ourselves, whether that's loneliness, isolation, fear, poverty. When Chiron is in Aries, it shows us what we've had to give up, what the true cost of being our own self has cost us. Jupiter is healing, and Chiron actually also represents healing, but it's the healing of a soul wound, right? So there's a chance here to really heal and overcome something that has done nothing but hold us back. Chiron in Aries is in the sign of Aries, which means we have to be brutally honest with ourselves and whoever Jupiter is that shows up in our lives, right? To say, you know what, this is what I want, this is what I have had to put up with, this is what I've had to deal with, but here's where I've allowed that. Here's where I haven't done for myself what I could have, right? This is a chance to find at a soul level and heal Chiron, what we believe about ourselves, Aries, or we're told, Gemini, that is not true. By accepting and acknowledging this and really doing the work, which is Jupiter in Gemini, to see it as data, right? To process it and to talk about it. By doing this and being really honest, that trine to Mercury, we can find a sense of freedom, Jupiter, that liberates us and frees us to achieve our highest possible outcomes. To me, that's really, really exciting, right? Of course it is, but this is a 4 month transit, right? It's not an overnight thing. This will take time, right? It's going to take time for you to realize and to work through, which is why you want Rafi in your pocket. Sign up if you dare. All right, that being said, let's look at some key dates, right? So on the 9th, I've just told you this is the day that the retrograde starts, and it's important, right? So let's explore a few other dates. On the 30th of October, Jupiter is going to oppose Venus in Sagittarius and then on the 3rd of November, it will come exact. On the 15th of November, it's going to oppose Mercury. This is an important checkpoint, right? Especially because it comes exact on the 20th, but it's going to start to oppose Mercury in Sagittarius and Jupiter will be in Gemini. So they're having a mutual reception, right? So even though this is an opposition, they are sort of speaking each other's language in some way, right? In a roundabout way. The 19th of November, the square to direct, so Saturn will be direct at this point, and the square to Saturn is going to begin to kick back in, right? So we had a little taster of this around August, and we're getting another taste of it now. So watch out for that. Excuse me. On the 4th of December, it's going to oppose the Sun in Sagittarius, and it will come exact on the 8th of December. And because it's the exact opposition to Mercury in mutual reception, what we might do or change for each other, a time to really consider the mutuality of our lives is really being nurtured. All right. On the 7th of December, the Mars retrograde is going to begin. Keep that in mind. On the 25th of December, we've got the opposition to Mercury. This is the second pass, right? And it's also the exact square to Saturn. So Christmas Day, for those of you that celebrate, it's going to have some stuff about it. So you're going to have to manage your emotions, right? The holidays can be a challenging time for some people. So keep that in mind. The square to, on the 14th of January, we're going to have the square to Venus in Cancer. That's an important point, which I'll talk about at that time. On the 30th of January, it's going to trine the Sun in Aquarius. That's going to be really nice, I think. On the 3rd of February, Mercury in Aquarius is going to trine Jupiter in Gemini, evolution and application. This is a time to put something in motion. And then on the 4th of February, Jupiter will finally go direct. So it's not the 31st of December. I don't know why I put that, but the 4th of February is when the Jupiter retrograde will come to a close. So something to consider. All right. Now, before we move ahead with the sign by sign insights, I just want to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So, for Aries, right, this is going to be, I want, in fact, for all of you right now, as I'm shuffling, I've said my prayer. I just want you to take a moment, take a breath, come into the present moment before you listen to your section. All right. So, Aries, this for you is happening in your third house. This is a time to clear out the mind clutter. Right. And Jupiter is trying to help you heal by helping you heal your relationships. It's time for you to listen to others and really hear what they are saying so that you can have a better life. For you, you have the Tower card. So this means that this is going to bring a massive realization in some way, shape, or form. I think in a lot of ways, this is going to wake you up, and potentially the realization that you have here will really show you like, wow, this is something that I've been missing for a long time. Taurus, this for you is happening in your second house. Your resources and money are changing, and how you do your daily habits and life are what really needs to be adjusted here. It's time for you to understand where your time goes, to fill that time with the right people and understand the lifeblood of your money and how what you feed yourself physically and mentally, and especially spiritually, are impacting how much money you can earn. For you, Taurus, you have the Three of Pentacles. Who are you collaborating with? Who are you working with? What are you ingesting on that mental level? What are you learning? And more importantly, what are you doing with what you learn? All of these are going to be really important throughout this Jupiter retrograde for you. Gemini, Jupiter is healing and changing you. It is asking you to think about and talk about your children if you've got them. This can actually be a time where you heal sort of in some way, shape, or form through children. And, you know, also your relationship to pleasure, to see that intimacy is actually multi-layered. It's a time for you to heal your connections and understand who gets to see your future, and it ain't going to be everybody. Look at this, and you got the full card. New things, new places, new people, new pleasure, new ideas of what it means to unfold and expand your creativity, and also to have the world see you in the way that you want to be seen. Cancer, this is in your 12th house. So quite frankly, Jupiter moving through the 12th house, although it's not tangible, it is for me the luckiest placement because this is like true guardian angel energy. So it might be your dreams or your intuition that lead the way at this time. It might be the silent communications that speak the loudest. Pay attention to who makes your spirit feel calm. Also consider that your past, your heritage, and or your family connections and how they've impacted your career might be coming to light at this time. And it's like the healing that begins, it gets to the deepest root of all of your fears on the inner planes. For this, you've got the Knight of Swords, right? So an interview, a connection, a collaboration, or an interaction of some sort will speak volumes for you during this retrograde. And also, I think this is going to be a speeding up of life. So for you, Leo, this is happening in your 11th house. Your social connections and interactions, how you feel within groups, is what's being healed and changed. And if you're starting to realize like how your beliefs have shaped your experience or the experience that you're having of life, your future goals and plans, they really have all of the power and promise that you require, providing you're willing to really talk about how you feel, to share the limelight, or maybe even create a spotlight all of your own to shine on other people. This is really about like how you share your story with the world, how truly healing that can be when you release the fear of what people are going to say about you, and when you really are ready to drop the shame, right? This is where the magic is really going to happen for you. And so, all right, Tara, now you're just showing off. Look at this, you've got the world, right? Literally next level stuff. The 11th house is the world, right? It's how you connect to the wider world, your groups, your associations, your communities, right? The world card is also a next level, the new level that is awaiting you in some way, shape, or form. And it is a refined version of yourself that is coming through. This is you stepping onto a brand new level. Virgo, this is happening for you in your 10th house. Your career is what's being highlighted, and the power to heal traumas around relationships and maybe even release your deepest fears is possible for you at this time. It will require you to be like really honest about what worth you truly attribute to yourself, because by doing that, you'll gain a real insight into what you are projecting into the universe and how that's coming back at you via the career success or stagnation. So this is a moment of real sort of self-honesty, even though it's about your, you know, outward facing self. You've got the Lovers card, right? So what are you choosing? Right? The choices that you make when it comes to your career, what do they say about how you truly feel about yourself? That's what this Jupiter retrograde is really trying to show you at this time. Libra, this is happening in your 9th house. Jupiter is at home in the 9th. It's a space that he knows what to do and how to do it. And this trying to heal your life and also heal your life through your beliefs. It's trying to show you how your beliefs are shaping you and also how you're limiting yourself, right? There's something about this about opening your mind so that you can heal your relationships by being honest about what you aren't getting from them. To say, this is what I feel like is missing right now. This is a time for you to really talk about yourself and your desires for the future and what it might mean for you to achieve them, right? This is about what needs to be released. And for this, you've got the Seven of Wands. You're being invited in this Jupiter retrograde to fight for yourself, to carve out space for yourself, to speak your truth, and also to know that your words have power and that you deserve to stand up and be counted. Scorpio, this for you is happening in your eighth house, right? This is really interesting because Jupiter in the eighth is the power to truly bring healing into your life. And it's possible for you that, like, and specifically for you, it will require a complete, what we call a nord, right? And that is like a complete revealing of self. Now, when I talk about this, what I'm talking about is you completely opening up to let the world in and have a good look at you, your habits, your routines, your practices. The power and healing are only able to reach you if you're willing to be completely vulnerable at this time and let people see all of you, the real you, to share your secrets, to share your past, to share like your inner self. And this is why I say like a complete revealing of self. This is kind of like a you throw caution in your underwear to the wind and say, you know what, this is it, right? This is what you're getting. This is who I am. You either love it or you loathe it. I don't care anymore, but I'm not going to hide. For this, you've got the Empress card. This is really about seeing yourself as truly beautiful and owning yourself on that practical, material, physical, intimate, sexual level. This is also about letting go of the fear of truly being seen for the beauty that you possess. Sagittarius, this is happening in your seventh house. Your relationships and connections are the focus, but it's through conversations with friends and maybe even helpful people in your life that the healing around your ideas of pleasure really come from, right? The healing is in relation to your ideas around sex, intimacy, pleasure, laughter, creativity. There's something in this about setting your inner child free and letting them blossom into like an inner teenager, right? So your inner child is growing up. If you have children, this might be honest conversations around being a parent, what it meant that you had to give up or decline in order to be a parent. And this can be really deeply healing. Do you know that? Like, I'll be really honest with you. I've had conversations with both of my parents where, they said, well, in having kids, it, meant I couldn't do this and, it wasn't like oh, this is your fault. And it was good for me to know that, to know what it cost them to stick around for me in whatever capacity they did. That's very healing, and it's a really hard conversation to have between a parent and a child. But I would advise you to do it. It'll bring you growth and healing on a level that you will never really know until you know. And for this, you've got the Two of Swords, right? This can be a complete balancing of the energies between you and your parent. It can be a complete understanding of what you felt you needed justice for, only to realize that it's none of it's anybody's fault. It really is just life being life. All right. For Capricorn, this is happening in your sixth house. Jupiter in the sixth house is expanding your focus on health, bringing healing to your body, providing you are releasing the stuck emotions around parents, career, talking about what your relationship to your parents or authority figures has been like, the healing around mother and father, right? The healing around home, family, and heritage is what's showing up here. And if you can talk about these things and maybe share some of your ideas and beliefs with an authority figure, the healing that takes place could be absolutely immense. And for this, look, you just can't make it up, right? You got the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups is literally healing, and it's also wish fulfillment. So some wish that you've had around how your life could be different on a day-to-day level, or how your connection with somebody that you love could be different, is likely to unfold in this time, but it will require some honesty on your part as well. Aquarius, this is happening for you in your fifth house. Jupiter loves the fifth house because Jupiter loves children. Here, though, it's really trying to show you how friendship and money can be a source of wonder and bonding. There's something in this about asking for help on, and maybe on many, but especially material levels. That doesn't always have to mean money. It can mean a hug, it could be a card, it could be a gift, it could be that things that show you that you are worthy. Mercury really is asking you to communicate your beliefs and to show where your mind and your beliefs around yourself and maybe even your ideas of self need to shift. And for this, you've got the Queen of Swords. So it could be that the message here is that you've got to fight for your own pleasure, that you have to really be ready, willing, and able to carve out what you want, to ask for what you want, and to know that asking for what you feel is right or what you feel you deserve is actually a form of self-love, right? For Pisces, last but never least, this is in your fourth house. This is ruling the energy of your home and family sector, and it's going to heal and protect your emotions while you make this shift. There is a chance for you to really open up here and be honest about what's going on with you. This is a time for therapy. It's a time to get really honest, to talk about your lifescape. It's time to voice your fears, to share your traumas, right? To really do the work of healing your wounds. And if you can be brave enough and find it in you to do this work, not only will your life change, but your money, right, will skyrocket. And I will say this before I sign off, the planets were once gods, right? Which means you've got to do the work. So in this that's it for Pisces, by the way. So in the 4 months' time that follows, anyone who's saying, oh, nothing about my finances has changed, this didn't work for me, look in the mirror, because the truth of the matter will be that you didn't do the work, right? And I'm really sorry to say that. That sounds like I'm being really harsh on Pisces, and it's not that. But the truth is, Jupiter is the Lord of opportunity. It's going retrograde to give you a second chance. I've outlined the process that you're going to need to follow here. So if you want those financial blessings and rewards, or rewards in home and family and property or land that you purchase, etc., you're going to have to do the work here, Pisces. It's not enough for you to just kind of sit back and say, oh, well, I'm just going to kind of hope that it happens. I'm giving you a very clear instruction here. Whether or not you get the blessings from this transit, this reversal, this retrograde of Jupiter in the sign of Gemini is going to be completely on you, right? So I'm talking directly to you there. I've given you the clear instruction. Now, in conclusion, for everybody, now I'm done with Pisces. In conclusion, Jupiter retrograde is a powerful time for deep healing and transformation. Oh, did I give you a card, Pisces? Pisces, your card is the strength card. All right, so this is really about having the guts and the courage to do the internal work, right? Having the guts and courage to know that you matter. And more importantly, having the guts and courage to wrestle with your own feelings. If you want your money to improve, Pisces, you gotta have the guts and the courage to do the inner work. Okay? Now, in conclusion, once more, Jupiter retrograde is a powerful time for deep healing and transformation. It offers the potential to launch us towards great heights, towards the best future that we can envision if we really are honest, if we communicate what's really going on with us, and most importantly, if we listen to the answers that emerge. For those of us that engage in this work, profound healing and growth really does wait for you. It's been my pleasure, as always, to serve you. Use this video as a resource, right? Come back to it over the next 4 months for guidance. Check in weekly or monthly. Share it in the comments. How is this energy unfolding for you? If you want to dive deeper, book a session. You can book a personal session with me through the links in the description box below. If you want to take this even further and you want to start to use this energy to prepare for 2025, You can sign up to work with me one-on-one for 3 months. This is going to be a big deal, right? With that said, I hope this video has helped you in some way. Please don't forget to like, share, give it a thumbs up, share it with everybody. Go out there and be who you're destined to be. You know Rafi loves you. Take care, and I'll see you soon.